And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Now, if you watch my review of Flick 'em Up, you know that I love this game. I love the Western theme, cowboys versus outlaws, so much fun. The first expansion, Stallion Canyon, added horses. Well, now we have the second expansion here, which is Red Rock Tomahawk, which adds Native Americans. When I was a kid, we played cowboys and Indians all the time, and so having Native Americans is a fun thematic flair to the game. But is it any different? Well, the answer is yes to that. Let's take a look at what's inside this expansion. I'm assuming you already know how to play Flick 'em Up. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to talk about what's in this set. First of all, there's a whole new faction of Native Americans, and you can see they all come armed with a tomahawk and a bow and arrow. And so we have just different Native Americans. It's very similar to the faction that's already in there. We also have some new terrain. There's a mountain terrain, and the mountain terrain is so that if you get your disc in it, you can actually be on top of the mountain terrain and shoot and do things off top of the mountain. So that's pretty cool. And there's also some forests, which will give the Native Americans benefits to going into the forests. They can hide in there. We have a teepee. This is some flare and some flashed. And then there's a totem. Sometimes the totem, as you can see, is a little easy to knock over. And in fact, one of the scenarios, they're trying to destroy the totem, and the Native Americans are trying to protect it. Now, the Native Americans here have feathers in their heads instead of cowboy hats. And these are easily, you just switch them. So it's blue, and then the next time it's red. And they also have the numbers on them, so it's easy to tell them apart. Now, let's talk about the different new weapons in the game. We have a bow and arrow. Now, this is kind of a funky look for a bow and arrow, but the way the bow and arrow works is you're going to place it here on top of the Indian. It's going to sit here like this, and then the Native American you're going to put in here, and it's hard to do here while I'm holding it close to the camera, but you'll put the arrow in like this, and then, whoops, okay. So you put the arrow in like this, and then you just, oh man, stay in there, arrow, and then you flick the arrow, and of course, or you flick the Native American too. So you can have fire arrows that will start things on fire, which is fire is a feature in this game. So I just do that, and I can shoot those, and those arrows will fly well. They easily knock people over. You also have the tomahawk, which is simply placed next to you like this, and then you're going to flick the tomahawk. And you can flick those. That one just flew up in the air. I'm not a very good flicker. You guys should know this by now. And in fact, if you ever have a duel between a Native American and a cowboy, you'll use the tomahawk. So this is what the tomahawk looks like. Again, this surface here, this padded surface, is not the best surface for these because it's harder to have things stand up on this. On a flat surface, the tomahawk will stand up better. And everything, so like for example here you can see on the edge of the table, it just stands up better on here. And again, you're going to be flicking that at someone trying to knock them over. Now, there is also a new weapon, the Gatling gun. Now with a Gatling gun, you're going to put the bullets in. There's 4 bullets, and you stagger them like this. You have to have them staggered, one to one side, one to the other side. And then you're simply going to shoot them all at one time. And they're going to scatter, and anything they hit and knock over, even if it's a ricochet, is going to cause damage, even your own friendly people. So this is a very dangerous thing to be shooting off. So that's basically what comes in. There's also tokens for fire and water and different terrain pieces. But this is essentially what's in this game. It all comes that you can put it into this bag, although it barely fits in the bag. You have to take it apart. And then there are different scenarios. There's a couple practice fields, and then you start with actual scenarios. So there's 3 practice things to teach you the new things, and then there is 5 scenarios, and then that explains the different rules about the mountains, the tomahawks, the Gatling gun, etc. And then it even tells you where you can find a bonus scenario online if you also have this expansion of Stallion Canyon. So you can have the Native Americans riding on the back of horses and shooting bows and arrows. So that's what's in this expansion. Well, first of all, I want to talk about space. So we have this box here, which is not a really good box. It's obviously a disposable box. Does everything fit inside Flick 'em Up? Well, everything's in here, although I had to take apart like the mountain and a few other things. You have to put them back together, so they're laying in flat, except I can't fit in the rule books. Now, here's the deal. I really think I could fit in the rule books if they were a single language. And I'm not opposed to having multiple languages in these books. It's just that they would be a lot easier to put in here. I might ruin the books and see if that works, like take them apart, because really the English part is only this thick. So if I can like rip this part out, but again, I don't want to ruin the book. So I got to figure out a way to do that. I think I could fit everything in then. For now, I just have the book separately. So, but if you have only this expansion and not Stallion Canyon, I'm sure you can fit one expansion here fine, because I had Stallion Canyon and no problem. This one kind of pushed the limits a bit. And the thing is, though, I don't like this box. You do have the bag, but I don't really like keeping bags on a shelf either. All right, forget all that. Everything else is just a lot of fun. The arrows and the tomahawks, now, like I said, they're very dependent on the surface. You want to make sure you're playing a flat surface for them to work well, but they're fun. Now, I have a very hard time flicking both of them, but if you hit someone with an arrow, whoo, I like that better than a bullet. Right, knock them down, knock their hat off. It's a lot of fun. Having to fire the new scenarios are interesting. The Gatling gun, The Gatling gun's one of those things that you're like, sir, we could hit our own men. I don't care. And that's the way it is. So it's entertaining. Now, this expansion or Stallion Canyon, that's a tough call, right? I'm going to give the edge, I think, to Stallion Canyon right now, because I like horses and it was that much fun. However, I do like the mountain here. I do like the arrows and the tomahawks, so it's just barely the first one's better. You might as well get them both anyway. I don't know that we need any more for this, maybe more scenarios and stuff. I'm sure people make that stuff online anyway. But it's a cool little expansion. If you like Flick 'em Up, you're definitely going to like Red Rock Tomahawk. Also, you can say it 5 times fast. Red Rock Tomahawk, Red Rock Tomahawk. Oh, sorry. Dice Tower Judgment, excellent!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!